Welcome all to Eat, Drink, and Explore with Cece. Today we're doing another recipe and it is for Formula One. It is the third race of the season. They're in Japan, April the 4th to the 6th, and it is another installment of the Formula One Cook Along with Me along the circuit. And what we're going to do this time is, since they're in Suzuka, Japan, we're going to do a Japanese curry dish. And you know, a lot of people go, curry Japanese? Really? Well, it's actually quite delicious. And you can make this curry, this beef curry, you can substitute the protein with chicken if you wanted to, but it is a great weeknight dinner. And the tender pieces of beef with carrots and potatoes, it's cooked in this rich, savory curry sauce. And it's the Japanese version of it. And what makes this so easy to make is that this Japanese curry, right, it is called Kare Raisu. Hopefully I said that right. Kare Raisu. And it's a Japanese curry and it's extreme comfort food, like seriously. And what this Japanese curry is these bite-sized chunks of meat that are mixed in with thick cut pieces of vegetable. We're doing carrots, we're doing onions, and then we have this rich, creamy brown curry. It's very different from the Thai and the Indian curry, and it is a nice brown savory sauce, and you can serve it on fluffy rice, on soba noodles, whatever combination you're interested in, you can put that combination together. Now, the cooking of this is so easy. The Japanese were introduced to curry by the British back in the 1800s, I would say around 1850, 1860, and they introduced it really to the Japanese Royal Navy to prevent them from having a vitamin B1 deficiency. So this helped bring in the curry, and then it became mainstay. And one of the reasons why it became mainstay is because this company here, S&B, what they did was they actually took everything that you needed to make that curry and basically created a curry mix base. And what you do is you buy them like this. This is all mixed, all ready to go. And then we'll just pop that into our sauce, as opposed to making the Japanese curry sauce from scratch, because it requires so many spices and herbs and stuff that many of us don't have that all in our kitchen. And so this is a great way to do this amazing flavor and put out basically a stew, like a beef stew, ready in an hour. And you can get a mild, you can get a medium, you can get a spicy. Now, keep in mind, the Japanese don't really like spicy. So if it's spicy, it might not be really, really spicy to some people who enjoy spice. So you can augment that by adding in some red pepper flakes, some cayenne pepper. You can spice that up all you want. Now, the funny thing is that they say that, you know, everyone makes their, you know, the Japanese curry using these things, right? Using the pre-made curry mix. But you want to be able to personalize that and make that something uniquely different that your mom made, as an example, right? So I'm augmenting it with some grated apples. I'm putting in some ginger, some garlic, and I am going to have a secret ingredient. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add in some lemongrass in the back note. And I'll put in some lemon at the end. And that's going to add a nice sour note, because when we make this curry, we're going to add in all these different stuff. So don't get too hung up with how much stuff is on the board. I'll take you through it. It's really easy. So first thing you're going to need is you're going to need 2 pounds of potatoes. Now, I have these baby new potatoes, so I didn't bother peeling them. You can use Yukon Golds. It's up to you. This is 2 pounds of it. I washed them really well, and now I'm just soaking them. I'm just trying to get some starch out of that for about 10 minutes. I have a pound of beef, and you want to have them in enough chunk sizes so that when they cook down, because the meat will cook down, right? So you want to make sure you have enough pieces, nice big chunky pieces in there. You're going to need a packet of this, which is the golden curry. This is an SM. There's tons of variations. You can buy this in the international aisle, the international food aisle in grocery stores, or go to an international grocery store. You'll find them, not a problem. There's different varieties. There's something called Vermont curry, does the same thing. But I wanted to introduce this one because they're the ones that introduced the format of having this pre-made ready to go. And that's become the staple for many Japanese moms. And then you're going to need some neutral cooking oil. I'm using avocado oil, but whatever neutral cooking oil you want to use, it's up to you. But now I would not use olive oil in this dish. Stay away from that. If you wanted to replace that with ghee, you could do that as well. And you're going to need some beef broth. Now, because I'm doing beef chunks, right? I'm using beef broth. But if you're using chicken thighs, for example, don't use chicken breast. It gets way too dry on it, and it cooks. The chicken breast cooks so much faster to the vegetables, and it makes it super dry and tough. So you want to use some beef broth. Now, keep in mind, because you're using this paste, right? This is a bit salty. So I'm using 30% less sodium here, but I'm also going to dilute it because you're going to require 4 cups of broth. This gives me 3 cups, so it's 900 millimeters. And then I'm going to add in an additional cup of water, and that's going to dilute it, and it's going to bring down the sodium content for me. Okay? And then I'll get through what we need here in terms of measurements for the honey, the minced garlic. I'm actually going to use this garlic here. And then I'll take you through how we're going to put the sauce together on that. So, first things first is you want to take your beef and you just want to pepper it. You do not want to at all put salt. Remember? Because the curry mix has already got salt. You got salt in your sodium, so you definitely want to stay out of that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit more pepper. What we want with the onions is you could mince this. If you want the onions to disappear in your stew, but by all means, your curry, you could mince this, make it really tiny. You could do a fine dice. It's really your choice. But what I'd like to do is I actually want to see them. So I am actually just going to cut them in wedges. So you're going to need 2 onions. And if you want to add in more onion, you can add in more onion. You can add in more carrot. You can personalize the stew. Would not add in mushrooms into here. Okay. Found once when I added the mushrooms, just became too watery. Now it's interesting because this stew is think of it more like a demi-glace. It's a cross between a curry and a beef bourguignon. Okay, and then the carrots, what you want to do is you want to cut them in different ways. Just roll your carrot around. And the reason why we're doing it this way is so that we can get different edges to the carrots. Oh, my eyes are watering because of the onion. It'll also help the carrots cook faster and evenly as well. So that's a little bit chunky, so I'm just gonna give that another cut. And I believe the Japanese call this cut aragiz. I'll put the name up. I'm saying it completely wrong, but I'll give you the right pronunciation. Perfect. So that's all we need. This is a super easy dish. So what we want to do is we want to cook the onions, and we want to make it golden. If you have time, then maybe caramelize it a little bit. And the idea is you do want to caramelize your onions. It'll add some beautiful flavor, and the onion adds some nice sweetness to the dish. We're adding in a tablespoon of ginger and 2 minced garlics, or you could do a tablespoon of garlic paste.
Definitely going to flavor it. And we're going to add in the beef. We're just going to cook the beef until it's lightly brown, just to give it some color. And then we'll add in the rest of the ingredients. I just want to get a slight color to this. I don't want to overcook the beef because I don't want to make it tough. And then you want to grate in the apple. I like to use this fine grater because I want it to get all mushy like this. And the apple is going to add a balance of sweetness. You won't even know it's there. Perfect. So we're now going to add in a tablespoon of soya. This is my additional ingredient that I like is lemongrass. Tablespoon of that. And we're going to put a tablespoon of honey. You really won't know that the honey is there, but it'll balance off the heat and the sweetness of the curry. You can omit this if you don't want to, but this is very traditional. And we're going to add in a tablespoon of ketchup. Now you could add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce here as well for a flavor back note, and that'll add some nice umami background. I'm putting about half a teaspoon. Oh, it smells so good. So add in the carrots. I normally like to do this before I add in the stock, just because I want to mix everything together with the flavors. And we're going to add in the Japanese curry root. If you want, you can break this further. Should have done that outside, but not in the pot. It's starting to smell great. So we're going to add in the water, the 1 cup. And I'm doing that because my broth, my beef broth, is 30% sodium, less sodium. So it's still got more sodium than I wanted. And then you're going to put 3 cups of the broth, and you're going to put 1 cup of water. So now you see why I try to put all of the seasonings first, saute them all down, get them incorporated. And then we're just going to add in the potatoes. Now, depending on what type of potatoes you use, if you use Yukon Gold, then their shape's pretty good. But if you were using russets, for example, you might just want to watch it because the russets will dissolve, and you just want the liquid to be just covering the potatoes. And then we're just going to put a lid on it. I'm going to add in another tablespoon of soy sauce. So let's put that on and let's get that stewed for about an hour. Check the fork tenderness of the potatoes. Once that's done, then the stew's ready to go. Oh, so look at that. Doesn't that look scrumptious? And if we test the potatoes, perfectly thin. And remember, the potatoes is also a thickener, so it'll thicken the sauce as well. But it is beautiful. Now, you can taste it. If you feel that it needs some salt, add some salt at this stage. I do not need salt on this. Okay, so we're going to bring up the water to boil. And I always like to salt the water when I do these soba noodles, the udon noodles. And so what we're making is we're making that, okay? And they come, when you buy them, you know, they come in individual packets. So just use as many as you need. And you want to sort of just cook them for about three minutes, not more than 3 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, it's cooking through. And you'll know when it's ready to go because they'll separate from each other. So you see how that's separated? Now we've made enough of the Japanese beef curry for 8 servings or more. It freezes extremely well. Oh, I just
Wish you could be here. So do you see what I mean by it's a cross between like a demi-glaze? Look at that. It's so wonderfully rich and flavorful. And that just sticks to your bones. And at this point, you can spice it up by adding in your red pepper flakes or your cayenne pepper. It's your choice. I'm going to allow people to do that individually themselves. And then what I like to do is I'd like to finish it off with some spring onions. I just love to see the color of the spring onions in there. And then what I like to do is I like to add in a little bit of lemon zest on the top and a squeeze of lemon, of fresh lemon juice. And the lemon juice will add a little bit of a sour note if your stew is a bit sweet. So it'll give you that beautiful sweet and sour flavor. Okay, so let's serve this. And then what I love to do is I love to serve it with soba noodles, udon noodles. If you've never tried a Japanese curry, I would highly recommend you do this recipe. Let's give this a taste. Let's try the potatoes. It's wonderfully sweet and savory at the same time. Oh, that's really good. Let's try it with some noodles. That's awesome. Because the noodles are neutral and they soak up all this wonderful, look at that, this gorgeous, gorgeous curry. Just lovely. So there you have it, a gorgeous Japanese beef curry, and it is comforting, it is yummy. And I made it with the udon noodles, which absorbed everything. It is something that everyone will enjoy eating. It is a different curry. It is a much milder curry. You know, if you want to spice it up, add in your spices, add in your red pepper flakes, your crushed red pepper, add in your cayenne pepper. You can dial that up as much as you want, but typically Japanese curries are not super spicy. There you have it, a gorgeous Japanese beef curry, and it is something that is so scrumptious to eat, and I understand now why Japanese children love eating this dish. There's a sweet, savory umami back note on it. It is worth trying if you've never made it before. Highly recommend you try it. It will be in part of your weekly rotation. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. If you're a returning champion, thank you so much for returning and showing your love. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you have not yet hit the like button or subscribe, please go ahead and do that now. We are trying to grow the channel and need all your help and support. Once again, thank you for joining me. It's always greatly appreciated. Ciao for now.
Don't forget to hit subscribe.